There we go. Nice drop. Rain.
Spiky. Oh, there you go. Now you got a little life in you.
Oh, he's skinny.
Yeah.
One of the most common questions Ralph and I encounter on his website is, how do I adjust weight when Euronymphing? There's several different methods to do that. You can adjust weight by adding split shot. That might be the most common option, the most popular option. You can adjust weight by adding what's called a drop shot. So the first way with split shot is to add it 6, 7, 8 inches above your point fly, your bottom fly. The next way to do it is to run a long tag from your fly with a drop shot on it. So the shot is actually below the fly. I do not fish that way ever. I've tried it a couple times. I know when you master that technique, some people swear by it, and that's the only way. The other way to do it is to actually adjust weight by fly selection. And that comes down to bead size. So if you're not getting contact in the type of water you're fishing, assuming that your cast is good. Remember, the first way we establish contact when Euronymphing has nothing to do with weight. It has to do with the cast. Remember, Euronymphing isn't about just lobbing your stuff upstream, You actually still cast. It's an overhead cast. You stop short and hard, and that tucks your fly straight down from your rod tip into the water. And that fly literally dives to the bottom to establish contact. I don't want to say immediately, I can't do it immediately, but a lot faster, a lot faster. And that is the way that I prefer to adjust weight when Euronymphing. Has nothing to do with split shot at all. I usually fish without any split shot, and I'm just adjusting by bead size. The fourth and final way I adjust weight is in a small stream like this. I'm fishing a single fly, but I might put on another tag fly that also has a smaller tungsten bead to add some weight. And now I'm fishing a two fly system. And with that second fly, I've also added weight essentially. So that would be the fourth and final way I would adjust weight when Euronymphing. All right, so this is an example of one of my Euronymphing boxes. And you can see here, there's a lot of common flies. These are what I call my heron coppers. All right, this is another version of the heron copper with a bright peacock dubbed collar, same thing. These here are killer bugs, and of course we know these are the gaw, the green ass swalks. If I can point out these two rows here, these heron coppers, these three right here, they are tied with a 1/8 size bead, and there's a small lead underbody right around the thorax. That is a heavy fly. If I want to get deep fast, that is my selection. Here is the same exact fly, tied identical, same hook size. There's no difference in hook size of these flies, but you can notice that this bead is one size smaller. So that is a lighter fly. So if I start with the 1/8 and I'm getting a lot of snags, or I notice that the fish are up off the bottom several inches, they're not hugging the bottom, then I will switch to one of these where I can control my depth a little bit shallower. Because that's a lighter fly and I can keep it off the bottom through my drift. Both of these flies I can establish contact immediately, but as I guide them through the water I'm fishing, whether it's a seam, a pocket, a riffle, what have you, I can fish these flies slightly differently to establish the depth that I want based on the bead weight that they're tied with. I had started with a heron copper and I was getting good contact, thinking that it would do the trick. However, the fish weren't eating it. So I switched to an unweighted mock fly because the water is low today and this is not fast roiling water. and I picked up a few chubs close to the surface, but as I was watching my drift, I could see that my fly was slowly sinking down through the riffle, and I was not getting contact early, even though I was using a tuck cast. So I made another adjustment thinking that more weight is needed, and I went to a tungsten bead-headed mop fly, same fly but with a tungsten bead, and I immediately was able to establish contact at the head of the riffle, and within 5, 6, 7 casts, I hooked up with 2 rainbows. So that goes to show you that sometimes you need to consider weight over fly selection. The fly selection was right. The mop fly was the right selection in this situation. However, the weight was wrong. And as soon as I made that adjustment, within a few casts, I was hooked up with two stocked rainbow trouts. All right, so I'm approaching this pool. We've been fishing this pool for a little while, but every fish I've caught has been on this near seam. So now I want to switch my approach and I want to try to fish that far stream. And I've already done a few drifts through there to know that it's challenging because there's some sort of cross current that I cannot see. So what my goal here is I want to cast up to that tuft grass, that swamp tuft grass right there, like that hummock. And I want to pull it, I'm going to cast right into that slow water where I will not essentially have much of a drift. And I'm going to guide it into that far seam. And then I'm going to try to, once I guide it into that far seam, I'm going to try to establish my dead drift immediately. I got a couple different things going on here. You can see the leaves. That's actually good that we could see the leaves because you saw as soon as they hit that current seam, you saw them circle. So I know that's where fish would probably be holding because the food is also going to pile up and circle there for a minute or two. All right, so here's what I'm doing again. I'm gonna cast into that slow water near that hummock, that grass hummock, and I'm gonna guide my fly with, when I say guide, I'm putting purposeful drag on my fly to get it to the seam that I wanna fish. As soon as I get it into that seam, I'm gonna try to establish a dead drift. So I'm gonna stop guiding. You'll probably be able to see it. I'll probably lower my rod tip ever so slightly. And at that point, my goal is to get that dead drift on that fly. So let's see here if we can make this happen. Slow water and I guide, and bam, right there I established my dead drift. I don't know if that can be caught. So if I cast over that run, now I'm guiding, and now I let it dead drift. Another big chub. We can't be filming this. Well, if we were surviving right now, we'd at least be eating chub. A survival fare. There, that's a big fish. This one's acting better. Another rainbow. This fish has a little more gumption. That fish looks healthier. Nice looking stocked rainbow. Good solid, good little stocked rainbow out of this small mountain stream. Oh, there he goes. Say if we did a segment on, you know, Euronymphing fundamentals, weight selection would be probably in, you know, the top 10 Euronymphing fundamentals. And it's a challenging thing to grasp at first. You just got to keep experimenting, and you will learn how to select weight when Euronymphing in order to establish contact and get your fly to where the fish are.